Hey there, everyone. It's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and we are live today talking about communication and that one size does not fit all. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I don't know how many times I've heard the phrase, well, it's just the way I am, and bang my head against a brick wall, because it's, yes, you are who you are and we are who we are. And of course, we're amazing, aren't we? We're all fabulous in our own way. But one of the things that's super important that I find is that we need to be able to adapt the way we communicate to different types of people, because we're all different. And often people forget that and then wonder why nobody's listening. So if you're here, if you're listening here or you're watching live, then say hello, please do. And if you're on the replay, please comment replay and with your questions, because I will get back to you. Please tag me in it if you can, because then I will actually see it. And so what I want to talk about is the need to be able to adapt what we say to different audiences, and not just different audiences as in whether it be you're on a stage or in a meeting or all those things. That's a whole nother life. But what I'm talking about is adapting to different types of people. So I don't know if you've ever been there where you thought you got your point across and you've said everything you need to say, and either the people that are supposed to be listening really just haven't got what you're saying, or they don't look like they're interested, or they just haven't bought into what you're talking about. And you're thinking, well, it was really clear. It worked for me. I thought it was great. I gave them all the detail. And I don't know what's what. Or maybe you've heard somebody speaking and you thought, God, they make that so difficult. I don't really have a clue what they're talking about. When you really should have been that easy. And this is the thing that we don't always think about, is that when we are talking like I'm talking now, I have my own preferred style. I have my own preferred way of putting things across. But if that isn't your way, then you're not going to resonate with me and you're not going to hear what I'm saying. So thank you. If you're here already, then that's great. If you're here still. But it's super, super important to be able to be conscious of how you are speaking up, how you're communicating, and looking at the person that you're talking to or the people that you're talking to and thinking, is this right for them? So I want to give you an example. My old boss, I'm not going to name names, he was a chief inspector. I was a police officer once in a lifetime. And he wanted to know the ins and outs of everything before he would agree to anything. And so I had to give him every piece of detail that we needed. But his boss was a superintendent, and was more my kind of guy, was more of a big picture person, wanting to know results rather than detail. And so if I was speaking to the both of them, I was going to upset one of them unless I was able to adapt what I wanted to say. So for my chief inspector, I was going to be giving him all the detail. I was going to be adding something to the email. I was going to be giving him like addendums and read around the subject matter and all those kind of things. But for my superintendent, I was just going to be 3 bullet points and then we were done, because he would be happy. And if I gave any more, he would have switched off and said no. And so here I'm trying to adapt to meet their needs. And what I see so often is that people are so busy thinking, well, I'm doing a good job, and focusing on the content of what you're saying, as in what about what I'm saying, and not thinking about how do I need to be putting this across to the different type of person? What's their needs in this? And it would be amazing, I think, just to hear different people say to me, well, it's about my needs too. And you're right, it is about your needs too, of course, but you're the one, if you're the one who wants to sell an idea or get people on board or all of those things, then there's a benefit to you in thinking about, well, what does the other group of people need, the ones that are not like me? And I said in my in the little blurb about this, I said, it's about 4 times as many people as you could get. And the reason I say 4 times as many is because you've probably lost 75% of people because you're coming at this in your own style, if you're coming at this in your own style. And so what I mean is, for example, there are many ways we can split people up or measure this or whatever, but I'm going to use the DISC scale today. So we have a behavioral style and a communication style in one of 4 areas. And the first one, it's called DIS for a reason because it's D, I, S, and C. The first one and two, actually, D and I are more extrovert. They're going to be more out there with what they say. But one of them's going to be people focused, one of them's going to be task focused. So if you're a people focused person who's extrovert, you're going to be in what we call an I style. So you're going to be more inspirational. You're going to talk about bringing people with you. You're going to talk about big picture stuff. Okay. And if you are a D style, you're going to be extrovert, but you're going to be more task focused, which means that you're going to talk about getting stuff done, results, and you're going to be much more straight to the point, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there's just two styles straight away. Are you people focused or are you task focused? But then when we start to look at, are you doing this from a more extrovert or introvert phase, then you've got the other two styles. You've got S and C. S is a people focus, but more of an introvert. So they're not going to be shouting from the top of the voices. They're not perhaps not going to even speak up, and they're going to be interested in different things to what the other two styles are. And then you've got the C style, which is task focused, more introvert, which means that they're going to be more detail focused, but they're not going to be ego driven so much. So they're going to be perhaps correct, compliant, and wanting to hear the rules. And so here you've got 4 different styles straight away before you've even started of people looking at things from a different perspective. So if people are looking from a different perspective, it makes sense that you've got to give them a different perspective, or you've got to look, or you've got to communicate what you want to get across from their perspective if you want them to take something on board. And what I mean is you have to think about, how are they going to digest this information? What sort of piece or part of this information is going to be the most important to that person? And not just say what you think is important, but really think about what's in it for them. What do they need from this, and how do I need to put it across? So do I need to make it more detailed, or do I need to make it less detailed? Do I need to make it more interesting and more people orientated? Or do I need to make it more factual? And the minute you start thinking about this for different types of people is the minute that you're going to have more success at being able to get what you want, because you've actually given somebody the information in a way that they can digest. Okay, so it's not about you are who you are. Yes, of course you are. And it's not about changing who you are. It's about adapting your style for the moment and for the person that you are speaking to, or the group of people that you're speaking to. Okay, and so as an example, my very first ever client, actually, when I first started my business, was a very big D star. Okay, so they were very dominant, direct, they were task focused, and they really wanted to know what the results are going to be. And of course, I'm very people orientated. And so she was like, so what's going to happen? What are we going to do? How's it going to work? And I was telling her all about how much fun it was going to be. And I was like, why is she not listening to me? Or why am I not getting my point across? And the minute I realized this is where she's coming from, we change. We talk about the results. We talk about what's going to happen. We talk about how it's going to be successful. And we didn't go into the nth degree of detail because she didn't need it. She didn't want it. And I would have lost her. Okay, so this is where you need to think about, who is your audience, what's in it for them, what sort of style are they coming at, what perspective do they look at things from, and then when you change and adapt, you're going to get more yeses, more agreement, and you're going to have a much easier conversation and probably less conflict and awkwardness in your conversations that you have. And so what I would love to know from you is, who would you change for? What would you change in the way you come across? Do you know the way you come across? Are you more people focused? Are you more task focused? For a start, are you more extrovert or are you more introvert? Think about what your style is, and then think about how you need to adapt to attract more people to listen to what you've got to say. So once you've done that, then you will start to see how much easier it is to get people on board and listening to what you've got to say. So if that is of interest to you and you're thinking, actually, do you know what I really could do with this? Then one of the things you can do is that, first of all, you can come on our Communications Champions Accelerator. You can come and learn some of this plus some of the other tools that we teach on that program. And that's a 12-week program for people who want to increase their communication and impact. The other thing you could do is that one of the things that we do an awful lot is that we actually have to come into your team and look at every single one of you. where are you coming from in terms of communication? Where are you coming from in terms of behavioral style? And we look at you as a team and work out how you can better work as a team and how you can better communicate, which reduces conflict and improves productivity. So if that's something that you want to do, then give me a shout and we can talk about how we can get you involved. Remember, Communication Champions Accelerator, 12-week program, get you being a better communicator than you already are, and having more yeses and getting the board to say, yes, please, investors to say, yes, please, and your team to say, that's great, I'm going to get on with it. Okay, you take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.